All right, we're out here on the East Pearl River. I'm out here with John Guillot. We're about to do some sac-a-lait fishing. But before we get a plan, John, I want you to give me a lead up to what you've been seeing out here, because, man, I tell you what, this river can change on a dime, especially with the water. You know, rain comes through, especially up north. What have you been seeing out here, John?
Well, yeah, we had that big rains and water flow and kind of raised our water level for a couple of feet there, 2 or 3 weeks. And the water's still going down. It's not quite back in the banks up at the upper part of Waste House. We still have the West Pearl flowing through the woods and feeding into the Waste House, which is coming in and creating all this dirty water condition, because normally this time of year it'd be beautiful. You know, but what we do have going on is we had a lot of fish, a lot of bait hatched. We got a lot of fish, how can I say this, they're present, but they're picky on what they want to eat. Normally jigs have been really good this time of year, and a jigs, you can barely, if they do hit it, they barely hit it. It's hard to feel them. They want little bitty baits, you know, say 1.5-inch grubs, 1.5-inch hand tides, and then, but they really want shiner. You know, they don't even want a toughy minnow. They want an emerald shiner. They want him relatively subdued. They don't want to have to chase him down. They don't want to have to exhaust a bunch of energy. You know, they want a shiner. Yeah. Where normally I don't have a minnow in my shop, you know, in the holding tanks. This time of year, if you're not fishing with minnows on the East Pearl, you're not fishing for crappie.
So what's your plan for today, as far as we got some muddy water here, but I have no doubt that you'll put us on the fish. What's the plan for today?
Well, we're going to run away from the Navy. The Navy boats are going to be up here. They're going to be making a bunch of noise. We're going to ride downriver in an area and fish where the water's cleaner. Okay. We don't have communication from the West Pearl or East Pearl to this body of water. So it gives us a cleaner water. Fish can see the baits a little better. The fish are a little bigger. You know, and then we're going to fish our way back. We're going to fish different conditions, kind of representing everything that the Pearl offers and how to catch fish in the different conditions.
And we have shiners.
And we have shiners. We have lots and lots of shiners. But we're going to start out with jigs.
Talk a little bit about the Navy. What area is that they're running for folks who might want to come out here?
So Tuesdays and Wednesdays, that's the big 2 days. Okay. Now, there's not written in stone, but Tuesdays and Wednesdays, from what I understand, this Pearl River swamp is the closest thing to an Asian, like Vietnam or something like that. And so the Navy doesn't have a lot of places to train. Having the buffer zone, because we have the Stennis rocket testing pad right here, you have 13 miles either direction that no human dwelling can be. So they can come in here and shoot their guns and with blanks and cannons and all that stuff and run up and down the river and train. They literally drop them by parachute in the middle of this swamp at night and give them a coordinate that they have to meet them at a certain time. Wow. So we're packing a military sack in your firearm and coming through this swamp, they're more men than I am.
And that's a tremendous effect on these sac-a-lait, as far as
the sound is just like a thunderstorm. You know, when the lightning starts popping, the sac-a-lait fishing's over. It's just over. Well, they come down shooting them 20 millimeters, it's over too. The fish don't know the difference. You know, you get a bridge, Ross Barnett 43 bridge. You got dirt trucks running a boom, 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 making all that noise. The fish get used to that. It's a continuous thing. Here it's not.
Because they experience quiet.
They experience too much quiet in between the training.
And that affects them.
And it affects them.
Well, let's get on down this river, John, and find an area where the Navy is not, and let's find some sac-a-lait.
Yeah, well, fortunately, they don't run up in here too much in the daytime. Okay. Now, at night, they play chase. We call it cowboys and Indians.
Yeah.
You know.
Let's get going, John.
All right, buddy. got our first stop. This time of year, you know, the summer, the way it is, the fish like more of a horizontal structure instead of a vertical structure. And this spot presents us some horizontal wood to work through with the jigs and with shiners. You know, we're at 81, 82 degree surface water temperature. Down underneath, you know, it's a little bit, what you'd say, mid-70s. So, and it's overcast, so the fish can really be anywhere near the structure. When it's a bright sunny day, they're going to be under that horizontal structure. When it's a morning, a day like right now, our presentation, they could be 20 feet from it. So we got to work it with a little patience.
Switched over to a shiner, but what do you got on there? A jig head?
Just a straight jig head. I learned to do this up on Ross Barnett from the old timers. It is fantastic. When the fish don't want to really bite, you know, they're real lethargic like they are today. So this gives them a shiner. They don't have to swim. As you saw, I never really, he didn't even thump it. He just kind of weighted the rod up. It's a big difference.
Cross between jig fishing and maybe shiner fishing because it holds the shiner in place.
It keeps the shiner where the fish does not have to work to catch it.
That's a good slab.
So
okay, put a new shiner on.
That's the setup.
How heavy of a jig head is that?
That's a 16th with a number 2 Matsu sickle hook. So he can't swim around. If you look in the water, see that shiner can't, he's still swimming, but he's subdued. Can't do much. And that's what these lazy fish want this time of year. I'm gonna see if there's any back here on the back side. Well, even a fish that size is holding that close to cover. Now, they are holding harder to cover than I've seen them hold in years. I just don't think the population is as abundant as it was. That fish swam up and just was holding that shiner in his mouth, basically. He's up there close to that trunk. What's crazy is damn it.
Snagged another one.
Yeah, this one's a good one. This one's a good one. This one's a good one. These little hooks you can't get rough with them, you know.
So we headed back north of the interstate. We just couldn't get on a good bite south where the clean water was, so now we're gonna mess around with some dirty water. John just
That's not bad.
Shiner.
That's
under
all they
under
want.
a slip cork.
That's just all they want right now.
There he is. Fish.
Jig, freshly tuned, freshly tenderized shad.
Another one.
That's John's secret mix.
John's secret mix.
Yep. Look at that. Swing him in the boat, right? Look at it.
Beautiful fish, biggest one yet.
Yep.
All right, show us that jig. Let's see what we got. And that's injected with a
with crappie nibbles mixed with slab sauce off of crappie.com, mixed with plasticized oil.
and
mixed up
injected
with a
into
and
the
that's
center.
that's an epoxy injector syringe from West Systems Epoxy. So that's real strong. That's made for injecting epoxy into rotten spots in boats, gluing stuff together. It's pretty cool. I mean, it's pretty, and you see it works.
It's working.
All right, Keith. How about that?
All right, shiners. I'm gonna stick with the basics, John, with the shiners.
Man, I got to tell you.
But it's like you said, though, it's a which is a 5-gallon bucket in the spot that we're in. Just a certain little area that we're putting it in, like that.
How about that?
All right.
How about that? Looks a little different in the live well, doesn't it?
Yeah, it does.
Isn't that interesting?
A little bit busier all of a sudden. And isn't that like sac-a-lait fishing, huh?
Yep. All right, Mr. Keith.
Yeah, I got him. Got him. Uh-oh.
We got two on at once.
Doubles. Look at this fish.
We got two on at once. I told you.
Hold on. Let's trade off, John. I'll get that
No,
camera.
it's good. Get your fish off. I got this one on a Matsu hook. You on a wire hook. And we're going to keep him up on the surface. That's good quality fish. And I told you
look at that.
that this spot, it'll have them or it won't.
All right, give me that camera. Get yours.
All right. Boom him up. Boom him up.
Man.
Come on now, who's your daddy?
Let's go.
Hey, you just can't. You can't make them cooperate where we need them to for that pretty water, but we can make them cooperate.
We're gonna eat sooner or later.
No nasty water we're fishing in. Look at that. We're getting some fish in the box now.
Let's go. Let's get some more. Oh man, is this fun, John?
Yes, sir.
All right, John, we just left Waste House. Put quite a few fish in the boat right there, kind of died off, so it looks to be every little spot we stop, we pull a few off and it dies off. So that's what we did over there. Two good, really solid spots. Now we made a run further north. What are we looking at now?
Well, we're up at the island. Everybody that fishes Waste House knows the island.
Okay.
We're up at the island, and what we're gonna do in here, the fish have not moved back. They're staying out. So we're gonna work around this island, the mouths of these cuts, and pick these fish up. You know, they're associated with structure, with trash. There's fishing in the trash.
Got a lot of that.
Lots of trash. So, you know, the got a pretty good hatch of bait up here, but we haven't gotten the migratory fish. It's still a little too early. We start getting a couple of cool fronts. When them cool fronts come through, and then them fish will move up here, and then by October, this will be full of white perch.
All right, let's get
How
him.
light he is. That dirty water. Well, I don't have lines straight yet.
Oh! There he is, he's on. Oh.
That ain't very big, but I got a pin. There he goes. That's not a bad one. That's not a bad one. See how that hook is well into his mouth? You pick him up, but you got to look and see where that hook is first. That hook is anywhere around the sides of his mouth. Forget it.
All right, John, finishing up the day here on the East Pearl. Looks like we got some thunderstorms blowing up, so I think it'd be a smart move to quit while we're ahead, and we are definitely ahead with these sac-a-lait that we've caught. Took us a little while to locate them. Man, I tell you what, you would think we headed down to the clean water and that's where they would be, but we struggled in the clean water, came back upriver, had to fish in the dirty water, but I tell you what, it was like clockwork once we found them. I mean, you know, throwing the shiners and then you with the injected jigs. Talk a little bit about what you're looking forward to. Today, it doesn't seem like the Navy was running up and down, so it allowed us to fish some more spots out here on the East Pearl.
Yeah, you know, it was not a bad day today. You know, I gotta say, it just doesn't get much better during the summer out here.
Yeah.
Summertime is tough fishing. If people in Texas, people in Kentucky, they got the same problem we had. The bite on these fish is so soft, you can't feel them.
Yeah.
You know, and they're so picky. You know, we caught a few fish on jigs. Yeah, my little secret weapon works. Yeah.
I like it.
But, you know, other than that, if we didn't have shiners, we'd be holding a fraction of the fish, plus the live well, plus the cooler. I mean, we got a lot of fish.
Yeah, yeah.
But shiners paid the bills.
Yeah, and I tell you what, one thing about this muddy water is, the fish aren't as skittish as they are when
you can get up
clean.
on them. That's right.
So we got right up on these fish. Had a little problems with some garfish blowing up our spots, but it seemed like we'd come right back 10 minutes later and all the sac-a-lait set back up on that stump or that log, and it'd be like clockwork again.
Gar love a shiner. Oh my, they're such a pain. Once they figure out you're fishing with shiners, they're smart enough.
Now, something that surprised me this far north is the ladyfish that we caught. We caught a few ladyfish.
It's crazy. There's ladyfish everywhere.
Yeah.
It's just all up in this fresh water. We're finally getting the minnows to hatch. We're getting the food source. I pointed some of that out to you today. The thing is, they're small. So, you know, we don't have, Jordan River's got 3-foot long ladyfish in it because they have so much food. The fish are growing like they've been fed fertilizer. Yeah.
So what are you looking for this river? I know you talked about the heavy rains that we've had, the hurricanes the last few years, the Navy. It's really in bad shape, but it looks like it might be recovering.
Yeah, we had the fish, let me qualify this, the sac-a-lait had the best conditions to spawn we've had in 7 years.
Okay.
So next year we're gonna have a lot of sac-a-lait. Now we need food for them. So, you know, if we can have another spring like we had and we get some bait to hatch, and, you know, even with the issues with the people training and Navy training, still, you know, we're going to have, our population's going to rebound quite quickly.
Yeah.
You know, just in another month. All our bait, the bigger bait is all below Highway 90. I went over there and looked, you can side scan this clouds, but up here there's nothing.
John, it's August. I got sweat dripping off my nose. Let's talk about the first cool front. What's that going to mean for these sac-a-lait?
Well, that'll start them moving into these cuts and passes and stuff like that. The migration, that's what the magic is, the migration. And they'll start working on migrating up in the fall for the pre-spawn, and the cool fronts trigger it.
Yeah.
The cool fronts trigger. As soon as this water temperature starts dropping, they're going to come out of that 20 feet, 30 feet, 40 feet of water in that channel, and they're going to get back in the shallow water, and you're going to catch fish.
Well, they're here right now, and I anticipate it only getting better out here on the East Pearl.
It's prime time coming.
Thank you, John, for such a great trip,
I
and thank
enjoyed
you for all the tips.
We had a good day.